my name is Lily DeRoss. I'm the Tulsa County Diversity Liaison, and welcome to our wonderful event. We hope to have more events like these throughout the state. I'm the National Hispanic Political Director for the National Hispanic, it's a long name, Disaster Leadership. And what we do is we go to the White House when there's issues pressing, and we speak on behalf of the minority people, and we represent over 40,000 Hispanic faith-based leaders across the United States. So we are very thankful for that. And I do want to say, Mike left me a long message to tell you, but he does apologize for not being here tonight. He stresses the importance of the GOP to outreach minorities. He likes to share a summary of the exit poll results from the 2012 presidential elections. Hold on, my thing just went swiped. The importance of the GOP outreach minorities. He likes to share a summary of the exit poll results from the 2012. Obama won just under 51% of the 121 million votes, but he won 80% of the minority votes. So we have a lot of work to do here. He won 39% of the white votes, assuming that the same number of the voters in 2016, and assuming the GOP candidate wins the same number of the white votes. The GOP candidate would only need to win 9.2 million more minority votes in 2012 to win by 51%. The GOP candidate would only need the following gains in each minority group: a 1.8% gain in the black vote from 7% to 8.8%, and 1.9% gain in the Hispanic votes from 29% to 30.9%. A 1.7 gain in the Asian vote from 27% to 28.7%, and a 1.3% gain in all other minority groups from 42% to 48.8%. The point is, to achieve victory in 2016, we only need to move the needle about 2% in the percentage of votes cast by minority groups. The event tonight and the inspirational leaders like Mr. Wilburn can help us achieve this goal. And we want to thank T.C. Ryan for hosting this event, and many of the candidates that came to talk tonight about why they need to run for their office. And in that, I want to let you know that I am also a candidate from this district area that you are sitting here tonight. This is my district area, and I will be running for City Council seat District 2. So I need your support to appoint a diversity person on the City Council, and not just because I happen to be Hispanic, but also because I really believe that this district area can improve, and I'm a vote pro-development, pro-family, pro-security, pro-safety. I have a master's degree in public government and also homeland security degree. So I'm very involved in the community. Many people know that already. I help candidates obtain minority votes, especially Hispanic votes. I have achieved that goal by working very closely with them, meeting with them, and I'm also the president of the Oklahoma Café con Leche Republican PAC. So we also interview these candidates. So I want to kick this back to Wanda. Okay, Wanda's going to come and take over. Thank you again for coming.
I appreciate all of you very much. I also appreciate all the candidates that are here. We are going to allow them to come up here for a few minutes and, like I said, give them your spiel, their spiel for you. Please visit their tables. Please sign up for their emails. Please grab their yard signs and all that good stuff. All of these candidates are great. They're fantastic people, and they really put a lot into campaigning for you guys. So with that being said, as soon as I call the candidate's name, come on up here and do your thing. Each candidate will have 4 minutes. A representative for a candidate will have 2 minutes. Fred Jordan. Fred Jordan is a former state representative, currently leaving House District 69, and is now running for Tulsa County District Attorney.
Oh, thank you, TC. I appreciate seeing all of you guys out here tonight. I know it's hard to get out on Saturday night, so you're dedicated, and I appreciate that, and I honor you guys for being here. As TC said, my name is Fred Jordan. I am currently a state representative for House District 69 and serve as the House Majority Leader in the Oklahoma House of Representatives. I've been in that position for the last 2 years, and I've served District 69 for the last 8 years since 2006. A little bit of background on me. Prior to being in the legislature, I was an officer in the Marine Corps and spent some time on active duty as a JAG officer, where I had the opportunity to serve as a military justice officer and a prosecutor at my Marine Corps base in North Carolina. Thoroughly enjoyed that. There is nothing better than being in the Marine Corps. It was a fantastic experience and something that I'm very, very proud of, and really helped mold me and shape me into the person that I am today. Also, one of the highlights of my career in the Marine Corps is I got to be a part of Operation Enduring Freedom in 2002 and deployed down to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and was actually the Deputy Staff Judge Advocate for the command that first opened and operated the detainee detention facility. Fantastic experience for a young lawyer. I was able to help write the rules of engagement and rules for use of force and actually teach those rules to the Marines and soldiers that were working there in the prison. And you may remember that was a big thing on the news back in 2002, so it was a great experience for me, and I really feel honored that I was able to serve my country and do that. Some of you know me, some of you don't, but just some of the philosophies and theories that I work under. I'm a conservative. I've always been a conservative leader in the legislature. And I think that many of those same conservative principles that the legislature deals with carry directly over into the district attorney's office. The district attorney's office is one of the most important, critical offices in the nation when it comes to protecting your rights. Some of those conservative principles that I'm going to carry from the legislature into the district attorney's office with me start with fiscal responsibility. The Tulsa County District Attorney's Office manages nearly a $10 million a year budget, has over 100 employees. That is a huge responsibility. You need a fiscal, strong conservative in that office who's going to spend your taxpayer money wisely, who's going to look at how do we best prosecute the crime to protect the public and use the public's money wisely to prosecute and imprison those people. How do we use programs such as diversionary courts? How do we use programs such as drug court, veterans court, women in recovery programs to actually cut down on our prison costs and save the taxpayers money while at the same time getting treatment for people and reducing recidivism and keeping people from the cycle of being through the courthouse and through the jail year after year after year, and actually get them back on the street and being productive citizens. The next important conservative principle is the Second Amendment. I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I always have been and I always will be. You have the ultimate right to defend yourself and those around you. I will always stand for that principle as a district attorney. And finally, constitutional conservatism. You want somebody in that office who's a strict constitutional conservative who is going to read the documents and understand them and understands the need for our justice system. We have the greatest justice system in the world, and it's because that system works that Americans are protected under the Constitution. In fact, the district attorney, more than any other office, plays a key role in protecting the people. I'm excited to do that, and I'm ready to do that. This office is about leadership. You want somebody who is a political leader. You want somebody who's a leader in the law. You want somebody who has management and leadership experience. I have that experience. I'm ready to get in there and tackle this tough job. Work with the other political leaders, work with the education leaders, work with law enforcement agencies to bring all this together to reduce the crime rate in Tulsa and protect the public. Again, my name's Fred Jordan. I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
All right. I'm doing this in no particular order, it's just random. So, next up we have Dax Eubank. He is a liberty activist, a former pastor, and is now running for governor of the great state of Oklahoma.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Yes, my name is Dax Eubank, and I'm all those things that TC said. I've been having a great time running, and I'm glad to be here in Tulsa tonight at a great event. I'm glad to get to meet a lot of you guys tonight. I'm originally from Fairview, Oklahoma. Grew up there. My family's in the water well drilling business, and since then I've moved on, and I currently have a wife and 7 children at home, and we homeschool, and I'm an IT employee. And this year, like TC said, I'm a liberty activist. This year I got to looking at the ballot, looking at my choices for governor, and here I am in the reddest state in America. And I got to looking at my choices for governor, and I thought, there's not really anybody there I can vote for. There's no conservatives on the ballot. nobody on there that's promoting liberty, that loves liberty. And so I decided that if I put myself on there, I knew I could vote for me. But I'm hoping that you guys can vote for me too. I have two rules that I live by and that we kind of live by in our house. The first one is do everything that you've agreed to do. The second one is do not encroach on other people or their property. I decided to make those two rules my campaign platform as well, because I believe that if those rules work for my house, they can work for our government as well. I believe in a truly limited government. I believe in a constitutionally limited government. And I believe that the role of government, I think I have a little bit of a different perspective on the role of government than we currently have. You see, I don't think it's the job of the governor to govern the people. I think it's the job of the governor to govern the government and to leave the people alone. Yeah, it's perfectly acceptable to clap for me when I say things you like. There you go. The job of the government is to protect your liberty. It isn't to micromanage your life. It isn't to decide what curriculum is going to be taught in your community school. It isn't to decide how your business is going to be operated. It isn't to decide when you're going to plant and when you're going to harvest. The job of the government is to make sure that you are free to make those decisions for yourself. And that is its sole job, that and to establish justice, to make sure that other people aren't encroaching upon you in your liberty to decide those things for yourself. Unfortunately, what we have today and what we've seen, not only on a national scale, but at a statewide scale, and now we're even starting to see it at a local level, is a government that believes it has not only the right, but the duty to come and interfere with every little part and every little aspect of your life. Now, when I got to thinking about this, when I get to thinking about what would I like the government to do to help me? Well, you know, what would I like the government to do about Common Core? What would I like the government to do about Agenda 21? What would I like the government to do about the state income tax? What would I like the government to do about the infringements upon my rights, like my gun rights and my other rights? Well, the first two words that came to mind when I began to think about those things is I would like the government just to stop it. Stop it. And that is my campaign slogan. I want to go to be your governor, not to govern you. I want to go govern the governor, govern the government. And just like the governor on an engine, when it gets to going too fast, the governor slows it down. And when it gets out of control, the governor shuts it down. And I think that is the role of the governor of our government. And I think that we need to start putting people back into our government that have that philosophy of government instead of the philosophy of government that we've been living under for far too long, that's been causing the outrageous overgrowths and overreaches that we see and that we're dealing with now. We need a governor that will say, stop it. We need people in government that will say, stop it. And I would appreciate your vote on June 24th because I am the conservative on the ticket. You do have a choice for liberty on the ticket this election. My name is Dax Eubank, and I would appreciate your vote.
All right, next up, he wasn't able to make it here today, but T.W. Shannon has a representative, and that is Representative Ken Walker. Let's welcome him to the stage.
Thank you, TC. As you all know, I am not TW. We do have several characteristics that we share. We're both handsome, well-spoken, and skinny. But there's one characteristic that sets us apart. He's 5 inches taller than I am. He's 6'4". And as you all know, he's been endorsed by just about everybody in the world now except for 3 people, Randy Brogdon, James Lankford, and Rhonda Smith. And I have it on good authority that 2 of them are going to endorse him real soon. That's Randy Brogdon and James Lankford. Don't know about Rhonda back there, but she'll come around. I think the real true measure of what TW will do and how he'll be is shown by the 48 House members, Republican House members that endorsed TW when he came out and said, I'm running for U.S. Senate. They trust in his performance, his character, and his leadership. One of the things that TW did, he formed the first states' rights committee ever in the Capitol to fight back against the intrusion of the federal government and their encroachment in the states. And he put as their leader somebody who's probably to the right of most of you, that's Representative Lewis Moore, who's my desk mate and strongly conservative. Gus Blackwell endorses him. Gus fought the battle against Common Core, and a lot of us others have endorsed him. And we believe in his character, his integrity. He's a man who says who will do what he says he'll do. And we ask for your vote for T.W. Shannon for U.S. Senate. Thank you.
All right. All right, Steve. I am going to attempt to say your last name. And I think it's Rockweiler, or, okay, Kunstweiler. Steve Kunstweiler is running for district attorney. Good to see you.
That's good. I tell people when they're trying to figure out how to remember my name, it's Steve K for DA, or it's the common spelling of Kunstweiler, or I tell people it just rhymes with Rottweiler. If that's how you're going to remember my name, that's what I want you to do. I really want to speak to what's on our agenda. As a prosecutor, what you're called upon to do on a daily basis is find truth. And what you will know about me is, that's my motto, it's the motto of the district attorney's office, it's find truth and seek justice. I think, and I tell every child who's a victim of child abuse that I'm dealing with, I often ask them this question. I'll ask them if they're afraid in the courtroom. And oftentimes they'll say that they're afraid. And I'll ask them, well, why are you afraid? And say, well, a bad guy's going to be in there. And I'll say, well, I think there's going to be somebody who's going to be more afraid in that courtroom than you. And of course, they're wondering who that's going to be. And I'll say, it's going to be him. And why would he be more afraid of you than you should be of him? Because you possess truth. And what he is more afraid of than anything else is you speaking that truth. I'm Christian. I think more than gold, more than silver, more than anything else we possess, the one thing that we have when we're born with that we have to protect more than anything else is truth. It will define you. If you are a truthful and honest person, you will be defined as a truthful and honest person. So what I try and do is instill in every witness I deal with, what I try to instill in every child that I deal with, what I try and instill in every prosecutor that I train, is your job is all about truth. And you're going to have to make sure that that truth gets known to the trier. Whether it's a judge or a jury, they need to find the truth, and you need to deliver it for them. So my name is Steve Kunstweiler. I'm a 24-year veteran prosecutor. I am not a politician. Ever since I got out of law school, the only job I've ever possessed is working as a prosecutor. I've handled hundreds of violent crimes, seeking to protect your community. I'm married. My wife Christina and I are going to be celebrating our 26th year of marriage this summer, July the 9th. We've been blessed with 3 daughters. The community that I want my children to be able to grow up in is the same community you want your children to grow in. You want a safe and protected community, then all you have to think about is this. When you're going to darken that little box for the DA, you got to decide for yourself, who is it that I want at the helm of the ship? Who do I want guiding this community for the next 4 years? And the only word that really matters in that is experience. I have 24 years of experience trying every single case that you can imagine. I've managed budgets. We had to come up with 49% of that nearly $10 million budget on our own to try and actually do the job for this community. The state of Oklahoma's legislature only provides us 51% of that. So when you're going to darken that little box, I want you to think about who has the most experience and who's going to do the job to protect this community. I submit to you that the guy whose name rhymes with Rottweiler is going to do that for you. So please vote for me.
All right. This next candidate is running for the U.S. Senate. It is Tom Coburn's open seat, and that is Andy Craig. Welcome him to the stage.
Thanks very much, TC. Yes, as TC just said, my name is Andy Craig. I am running for Tom Coburn's seat. I'm one of the 7 candidates for this position. There's a lot of choice in this race. A little bit of a background about me. I've got a Bachelor of Arts in speech in the business environment from the University of Washington. Let me back up here. I'm brand new to the political realm here or government service here, so I'm giving you a little bit of background about who I am. So about of course, I can't speak right now, but my degree is in speech. However, my tongue is getting tied here. But anyway, I've also got over 15 years of sales experience in primarily insurance sales, but a variety of different other industries as well. I've got over 10 years of leadership experience as well, and I'm the only candidate that is a United States Army veteran. Forgive me, I'm apparently a little bit more jittery than I thought I was here. So anyway, that's a little bit about who I am. I'm a veteran. I've got sales experience and leadership experience there as well. Why I'm running. For me, the primary issue in this race is the values that we hold within our leadership within the Senate. We look at everything that's taking place here within our nation, the breakdown that's happening across the board, whether it's the debt, whether it's the breakdown in the family, or any other issue that you want to look at. That is a result of our core values that we're holding in our leadership and the legislation that comes from that. I'm about the restoration of the values in our leadership. And the reason for that is when you look at the core values that we have, and I'll take a fruit tree as an example. When you look at the roots of a fruit tree, if you have healthy roots, you have healthy fruit. If you have diseased roots, you're going to have bad fruit. That's where we're at right now. The values in our leadership are not in line with what we were founded upon. The values that our nation was founded upon created the greatest nation in the history of this world. Values such as commitment. Do what you say you're going to do. Too many of our elected officials go back, they promise one thing, and they do something different. Personal responsibility. Whatever choice that you make, whatever vote that it is that you do, they're going to have consequences from that. Own that consequence. Don't blame it on this person or this party or that party. Take personal responsibility. And finally, trust. We have a breakdown in the trust in our government right now. Let's earn that trust back. I talk with business owners all the time, people across this nation, in the job that I work with, are working right now. I work for a TV provider, have a regular job as well. And I talk to people all the time that are scared of the economy right now. We are told in our statistics that our economy is improving. But what's reality is the people in this nation don't believe that. They're looking at their pocketbook right now. Let's give them something to strive for. Let's give them a hope. Let's restore the values in this nation. Once these values are restored, then everything else is going to take place. Again, my name is Andy Craig. If you haven't already got my literature, it's out there on the table. You can visit me at voteandycraig.com. And I'm number 1 on the ballot. When you look at the unexpired terms, I'm number 1 on the ballot. So vote Andy Craig, United States Senate on June 24th. I appreciate your vote.
And boy, I really appreciate all the candidates in the U.S. Senate race. I mean, that is something. We have choices this time, and that's exciting. So next up is Chuck Strom. He's running for House District 69. I believe that's the House district that Fred Jordan is vacating. And so come on up, Chuck. Up, Chuck.
Thanks, TC. Thanks. Appreciate that. Hi, it's good to see you guys out here tonight. I'm Chuck Strom. I'm running for House District 69. It's the seat that Fred Jordan has just recently left. And I'm a constitutional conservative. And when I say that on the doors, and I've been knocking doors left and right, we've pretty much been living out of the car, I get asked the question, well, what makes you different than the other candidates that are in the race? And because they also say that they're constitutional conservatives. And for me, I have a passion and a love for the Constitution of the United States. I have a love for limited government. I don't believe that it's the purpose of the government to provide for us. That's why a forum like this tonight is exciting, because a forum like this I'm hoping, emphasizes that the free market values and principles that we hold dear are values and principles that we'll be able to convey to groups of people across the United States that the liberals and the Democrat Party have co-opted. They're principles that my wife and I sit and I have a hard time watching TV anymore because I watch on Fox News or whatever it is, and it's fair and balanced, and I hear such opposing views. But the bottom line is that the free enterprise system, the values that this country was founded upon, personal responsibility, hard work, hard ethics, those are the things that we want to go ahead and convey to everyone in the United States, because that's really how we go ahead and become successful as a nation. It's how we go ahead and we I hate to say we win, but we have to win in order to steer our nation back to a set of values and principles that we hold dear. Now, a little bit about myself. I'm an engineer. I moved out here in 1984 to attend ORU, graduated in '88 with an engineering degree. Engineers were kind of a quirky bunch, but you know, we're problem solvers. It's the way God created our minds, and it's amazing. It's fun because I look at the issues that are facing our state, the issues that are facing our nation, the issues that this whole evening is focused on, and they're from my perspective, they're solvable. They're not irreconcilable differences. And my hope and goal is that through forums like tonight and so many others, that we can go ahead and convince people that we do have the answers. And those answers come through free market principles. As I mentioned, I came out in '84. I'm an engineer. I've got 4 daughters. 4 kiddos. My oldest is a doctor. She's up at the Cleveland Clinic in Ohio doing her neurology residency. I mention that because I'm so proud of her, because she's understood what the essence of hard work and personal responsibility is. I have another daughter who's finishing her 2nd year at med school. I've got a son who's going to be a junior, and my youngest is going to be entering 4th grade at Victory this year. And I just wanted to share that because we've instilled in our kids the idea of what it takes to be successful. And we've instilled in them how to go ahead. We've given them a roadmap. It's through being involved in their lives. It's through being involved in every aspect of who they are and helping them define their love for Christ. It's our love for Christ that defines the very essence and our core principles and who we are. And so, as I see the 30-second time marker roll around, I just wanted to tell you guys it's an honor to be with you tonight. Our website is chuckstrom.com. Please go out and visit it. If you're not in my district, grab some literature. It's out at the table. Grab a sign and come out and support us. We need volunteers, and it's important that we go ahead and elect a true conservative. Thank you.
All right, before I introduce our last speaker, I just want to recognize a few clubs that are here today. First of all, the Tulsa 912 Project. And let me tell you, if you're not involved with the Tulsa 912 Project, you're missing out. They consistently hold events and seminars and all sorts of things focusing on the principles of conservatism. So real quick, Rhonda, because you don't need a mic, yell out when your meetings are. All right, well, you see what I mean? She didn't need a mic at all. No, they do some great work. Also, we have with us the Diversity After 5 Club. This is headed up by Marty Dixon, and they meet the 3rd Tuesday at 7 p.m. at Martin Regional Library. So if you haven't already, go visit their table, pick up their information, and get plugged into that group. And last but not least, Liberty on Tap. Liberty on Tap is a organization that meets and talks about liberty and conservatism and limited government and all those good things. For more information on that, we meet at the first Thursday of every month right now at Fox and Hound in Broken Arrow. For more information, you can go to libertyontap.org. All right, to finish out the candidates, we have U.S. candidate and former state senator Randy Brogdon. I don't think he needs any introduction, really.
Well, good evening, and let me apologize for my casual attire today, but we have been in 7 counties in southeast Oklahoma, and this is how they dress in southeast Oklahoma, and this is how I normally dress. So usually at an event like this, I may put on my coat and tie, but I just drove in from Hugo and Durant and McAllister and all points southeast, so what a great day that we had. I'm not going to take time to introduce myself. I look around this room and I see mostly familiar faces, but what I do want to spend just a little bit of time on is asking you for your support. And I want to give you some good reasons why I think I'm the best candidate for this position. And I say that with a very humble heart, because I don't want to brag about anything that I've done. All of my accomplishments have been because of God's gift that He has given to me. And He has poured in me, and I have tried to pour myself out to my fellow man throughout my entire lifetime. And I'm doing that in this race as well. There are 7 people in this race, or 8 of us, I think, in this race. And not everybody gets the attention that they should. There are some good folks in this race. But I want to talk primarily about me and my accomplishments, and about the 2 other candidates, Representative Langford and Representative Shannon. Because that's who you hear most about. They're the ones that are spending millions of dollars on TV. They're the ones that are having millions of dollars, or at least hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of what the press calls dark money, shadow money, being filtered into their campaigns. I think the GOP, the Republican primary voters, should be concerned about that shadow money. I think it's fair to know who our supporters are. I think it's fair to know that if you're going to donate to someone's campaign, that should be listed. That should be public information. You can go to our website, you can go to the FEC website, and you will know every single donor that has given to me. I'm proud of my donors. I really am. But let me tell you about some of my accomplishments in the 8 years that I served you in the state Senate. You know, when I talk about small government, efficient government, individual liberty, when I talk about privacy rights, property rights, I don't just talk about those things. I got in and I fought for those issues. When I talk about limited government, I wrote legislation called the Taxpayer Bill of Rights that would limit the government on how fast it could grow from one year to the next. I wrote the Taxpayer Transparency Act, where you can go online today and find out where the politicians are spending your money. When it comes to property rights, I stopped dead in its tracks the NAFTA superhighway from confiscating 37,000 acres of private property. In order to have a more efficient government, I wrote a constitutional amendment for term limits for statewide elected officials. So my record, Real ID, to protect your identity, we opted out of Real ID. The point that I'm trying to make is I don't just walk the walk. I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. I truly mean what I say. I fight for the principles that we all hold dear. It's easy to talk about it, but let me just make one final comment. $1 million TV campaign does not change the truth, and it does not change your voting record. Check us out. God bless you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you.